Hey everybody, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy. Alright everybody, for those of you that know the drill, I go over a bunch of comic books for the week that I chose to read. Now I didn't have time to read everything, so if I missed something you think I should have read, let me know in the comments below. Also, you may disagree with me on some of my choices. If that's the case, that's alright. Let me know below. Let's just try to keep it civil. My goal is to bring back the old schoolyard days, where we would be in discussing what hero could beat who or what comic book was good and not. And I come armed with my trusty notes, so you'll hear the paper rattle because I do it a little bit old school. I do my grading on a scale of 0 through 10, 7 being average as a 70%. So I'm using schoolyard grading. But that's not all. I also use the League of Comics Geeks to give you other people's views as well as a brief overview of the comic book as well. So let's jump right in. Hey friends, welcome back to my weekly comic book review. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. So let's get out there and let's go. Woo! Thanks for everybody that's been sticking through all this with me. I know I've been going through a challenging time right now, and so I don't see my normal chipper self. I got a lot on my plate, but that's okay. I can take these moments to celebrate. So here we go. I walk into the virtual comic shop, and the first book I want to talk about is Birds of Prey number 22. It had 118 ratings with a 4.0, very positive score on League of Comics Geeks, and I gave the book a 7. Not as high as they did, but that's still good. And the writer is Kelly Thompson, artist is Sammy Basiri. Anyway, it's got some cool cover. The cover's okay. But it's got some alternate covers that are a little bit better in that regard, but it's okay. The birds investigate the disappearance of one of their own. Yeah, they're going after to find Barda, hoping it will lead to their missing comrade, but, well, they get attacked by a mysterious villain, which if you can't figure out who that is, you have issues. Meanwhile, the Shadow Army makes another big move. Yeah, they're going against the birds here. There's some decent art. There's an explosion and some action in this issue. Yeah, good explosion. Decent story progression here, too, as well. This is good if you've been reading the series, but not a good starting point. So if you were thinking about reading this, I would wait till after this story arc or go back and start ahead where this started, because otherwise this issue won't mean a lot to you. But that's my views. Let's check out somebody else's here real quick. Here we go with 3-star review. So yeah, I think I'm dropping this at the end of this arc. Oh, it's just so boring. I feel it suffers from a severe case of decompression, and it's very wordy with the dialogue. And this is a case that usually happens, and I'm going to sound sexist here, but a lot of female writers get really wordy with the dialogue, or feminine men. Shots fired! Woo, boy! And the dynamics are not super interesting to me. I've tried really hard to care, but I don't give a woohoo. Anyway, like it all. The artwork is fine. I like it. So let's read something that counters that 3-star review. This one is a 4.5-star review. Lack of Barbara. Well, here we got a lot. I wonder if I knew something bad was going to happen had I not read the solicitations. It seems to lead badly with the heated argument. Dinah leaving frustrated, and her words before leaving for the mission. We don't lose our friends in front of her bestie. It seemed choreographed. That was a good point there. It is, but ultimately not bad. Let's find another one here. This one is a 4-star review. Why did Barbara make a drone control system that would shock her if the drone was destroyed? That's a good point. 4.5-star review. I love when heroes are allowed to have tension and not always get along with one another. Then I would suggest to you to check out the Avengers, particularly the very first volume. The Avengers were loaded with arguments and fights amongst the team members all the time. So we'll shift to another team then. Let's talk about issue number 8 of JSA. So yeah, JSA number 8 with 143 ratings with a 3.8 score on League of Comics Geeks. Once again, mostly positive. And this one I gave a good positive score. I gave the book a 7.8. Yeah, I was pretty positive about it all as well. Writer's Jeff Lemire, artist is Gavin Guidry. I think the cover's pretty classic style here. I like it. It's got some interesting alternate covers as well. The Lost Adventure of the Justice Society of America, a tale from the early days of the Justice Society of America in this issue. As the dust from World War II settles, the JSA makes its way into Europe to recover the powerful artifact that prevented it from entering the war front. The Spear of Destiny. Yeah, so we got the Spear of Destiny. What they're doing is they're giving you a throwback tale to set up this story that's 80 years after that. It's nice to see characters in this issue that we get to see, like Sergeant Rock, and the Blackhawks. These are some lesser known characters that I think we could get some benefit from seeing more of. Good art in this issue. So in this issue, the past comes back to haunt the JSA. Will they be able to survive? Well, from looking at the other reviews, I'm going to read a 5-star review because a lot of them are pretty good here. It says, Johnny Sorrow is a villain that I love. Apart from the pacing, I'm enjoying this series. The issue is to make it clearer what the villains want and how they plan to do it. I agree, it's setting up the backstory, but here we go. I like to read something that's converse to that, something that's opposing that. This is a 2-star review here. 4 issues in a row where he didn't butcher Scandal. Okay, good enough for me. Hopefully he never gets to write her again. So is this saying they aren't mind controlled? He just chose to butcher Scandal and Rudy for no reason? Goodness, this run is so bad. Ooh, there's another one. You know what? Let's read another 2-star review here. When the plot is already dragging on a month by month basis, it's entirely flashback issue is a bad idea. So they don't like the pacing clearly, and they didn't like the fact there was a flashback. I had no problem with that. Let's read a 5-star quick one too then that runs counter to that. Fantastic World War II era story, but it did feel a little light. Also love the artwork for the main cover. So there we go. We got some mixed reviews on this one. I would really like to know, what are your thoughts on this? The next book I want to talk about is a book that I think is underselling and deserves better, and that is G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 317. It has 34 ratings is all, with a 4.2 very positive score, and I gave the book a 7.3. And here's the thing, I do think this deserves more readers. I can understand if you aren't a big G.I. Joe reader, you left the book. I got a little tired of all the mind control. I think, the writer, Hama, got way too far into that. Speaking of which, that's the writer, Larry Hama, pencilers, Paul Pelletier. And that's a problem I have too. Too much mind control in these things, but it is what it is. The G.I. Joe Ninja team has infiltrated Springfield in this, but nothing is as it seems. Meanwhile, Dr. Mindbender has his revenge. Yes, we get a lot in this issue. The G.I. Joe team are watching over Alpha 001. The other Joes are in Springfield, and it has good art in this issue. Cobra Commander's not doing well as well by being captured by Destro. He's struggling here. This is a decent issue, really. And to be fair, there's a couple things about it I want to talk about. First of all, the standard cover, I don't care for it at all. Dr. Mindbender looks really goofy on that. There's some alternate covers, though, that are very good, especially the retailer exclusives. But I'm not big into getting those. I gave this book, as I said, 7.3. It's a fun book. The art side is good. Dr. Mindbender has been converted back from that zombie-ish disease kind of thing that he had, and he's been upgraded significantly in strength and power and all that. So it's an interesting take on Dr. Mindbender. I'm enjoying this series. Sure, not as much maybe as the other one, but this has been good. And if you haven't, checked out G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, I would recommend giving it a shot. It might surprise you how good it is. It's got a great cast of characters in it as well. We have Snake Eye, Scarlet, the other version of Snake Eyes, Dawn, Stalker, Storm Shadow, Destro, Cobra Commander Baroness is in this. I mean, we've got a good cast of characters in this. Wetsuit, Throwdown, Agent Helix. A lot of fun here to be had. But you know what? Let's look at somebody else's views here. We have a 4-star review. It says, looking forward to seeing how things play out between Destro and Cobra Commander. And boy, am I right there with you. I hope Cobra Commander gets out and gets even. Another 4-star review says, pretty much a setup issue. But man, is Dr. Mindbender a menace now. I agree 100%. And to be honest, there is no bad reviews here left for G.I. Joe. Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by my wallet. Yeah, I'm not trying to push any kind of wallet or pimp any wallet out. What I mean is it's sponsored by my personal wallet and the cash that comes out of it to pay for these things. If you want to help with this, you can hit like, subscribe, that notification bell. Those are great ways to get started. But if you find yourself in a position where you can help the channel more, we have a Patreon and a subscribe star down below that you can click on those links. And for as little as $1 a month, you'll have special videos and things to just you, music that you can get. Or maybe if you wanted to, a one-time donation just to help out, we have a Streamlabs link down below. Or we also have, if you go to the Patreon shop, you could buy a song for like $3. I wish I could put them a little lower, but that's the minimum they allow for that. So there's lots of options. Sometimes you might even see an Amazon link. If you want to buy anything through Amazon, click on my link first, then go through there. That'll give me a couple pennies, possibly that way too as well. So there's lots of ways you can help out the channel, because without you, it would not be possible. So thank you, everybody. And let's get back to the video. I can't believe I'm saying this. The Amazing Spider-Man #5 has 400 ratings with a 4.0, very positive. First of all, let's start with the fact that I gave the book 7.5, which is higher than I expected. A couple things I want to talk about. 400 ratings. That's not great. You might think, oh, that's a lot of people, and it is, but Spider-Man used to be doing double that not too terribly long ago, before the last few story arcs where people just hated the creative direction, myself included. I think they've done a lot of damage to the brand, and it's going to take a lot of work to bring people back. I will say this cover of this book is a good cover, and there's some pretty good alternate covers as well. So definitely impressive, including retailer exclusives here. So hopefully they can step it up. The writer is Joe Kelly, and artist is Pepe Larraz. And I'm not a big fan of Pepe Larraz. I see a lot of people love his work and think he's great. But I will admit, I don't know, maybe it's growing on me. This issue I thought was pretty good art-wise. So hey, it is what it is. We have the Hobgoblin versus Spider-Man here. Yeah. And Spider-Man gives the Hobgoblin a taste of his own medicine. Taste of his own medicine with the chemicals that he was spreading. Spider-Man gets it out of his system and gives it back. It's a good action in this issue. I like the cover, and this is a better issue and storytelling than I expected. It took a turn for the better here. I'm a little interested to see, can they keep it up? And maybe if they do, maybe we could spread the word that, hey, maybe this book is worth coming back to. I'd like to know your thoughts. If you've been reading this, is this a book worth coming back to? I do think it's definitely an improvement over what it has been. Now, the next book I want to talk about is Daredevil #22. Now, this is interesting. It has 111 ratings with a 2.9, mostly negative score. People are not liking this. I gave the book a 7.4. I'm actually higher rating on this one, which is surprising. The writer is Salman Ahmad, penciler is Jose Luis, and there's also Carlos Nieto. This could be an interesting one, okay? In the fight of his life, Matt Murdock has been infected. Yeah, he gets infected with this. It's interesting, kind of spores, kind of mushroom crap. A monstrous new fungus has wormed its way through the city and now into Matt's very pores. That's true. I'm not a big fan of this villain here either. It is what it is. Though I will say I like the art in this issue. The art, in my opinion, has been very good. The villain, I don't like the villain in how they talk either. The villain calls Daredevil bro. His dialogue is absolutely cringe in this issue. So if that's impacting people in their views, I get it. But I do think it's a decent issue. It's sort of out of Matt's wheelhouse. But then again, you gotta remember, even though he's a street level hero, he's done a lot of supernatural stuff. It's a decent issue. But the one thing I don't like, too, is how fast Matt has moved on from Elektra. It just seems too fast just to shove that in our face with this new relationship. And I just don't like that, but Matt's always been a bit of a fast mover. But let's see what some people are saying about this book, because there is a lot of different views, different perspectives, a lot of negative. Here's a 2-star review. First issue I've read of this run, and it's not great. Tonally, this just doesn't feel like Daredevil. And I think I get that. I was talking earlier about that. There are things that I should love and like the villain being a manosphere-type billionaire landlord. Yes, let's have Matt beat the brakes off that guy. I like Matt and Nyla's knowledge of the neighborhood beating the out-of-touch billionaire villain that feels like a street-level superhero hearing I can't get behind. Now, my question then is, why are you so against the billionaire? What's wrong with somebody that's wealthy? I have to ask that and consider that. Just because somebody's wealthy, why do we always have to make them evil? This is something I don't like. I think one of the things that's important for us as people to realize, when we're secure in ourselves and happy with ourselves, shouldn't we be celebrating other people's successes rather than vilifying them just by the amount of money they have? That's something I challenge people to look at. Why is there that hatred for people that are rich? Is it jealousy? Because, it happens. And I want everybody to be wealthy. Now, that's my little soapbox there, but let's continue on with this person's review. It says, but the dialogue was a bit over the top. Boy, do I agree there. If I wanted a parody of a millennial writing dialogue to desperately try to appeal to Gen Z and Alpha, it would sound like this dialogue. I cannot agree more there. The art is cool. Yep, I agree there too. They're digging the samurai armor. That's the black suit, by the way. Okay? But it definitely, they're getting it with the tone and dialogue. They did not like it. That's one of my big hits there too. Let's look at another one here. The art is great. I like the idea of Daredevil going up against a creepy, goopy guy like this. But the writing continues to reek. I don't know if it's Ahmed just doesn't connect with Matt Murdock on that level, but we're 22 issues in and the characterization still feels off. I agree there. Adding a Struyman into the mix just feels like a desperate attempt to connect this to a prior run that everyone, including myself, adores. Yeah, I agree there. When this run started, I was highly anticipating it, but it continues to leave me unsatisfied. I find myself cringing at these recent Daredevil issues a fair bit, but it's still not awful enough for me to drop entirely. But I do feel that once this runs over, it's gonna sit in a long box and never be revisited. I think those are some very, very good points. It just seems a little bit out of character. Okay, I want to try to find a good one, though, to counterbalance it. So we have a 4-star. I've continued to find enjoyment in this run. The art in the first half of the book continues to be stellar. Agreed there. Lion's Mane is a cool villain, both visually and in hate ability. I still just don't think this is worth the cover price, I suppose. Well, my question there is any Marvel book worth the cover price? Comic books are way too expensive for what you get. I remember when a comic book had a lot more dialogue and information in it, and it would take you about 4 times as long to read as now. I mean, you can read a comic book now in like 5 minutes, maybe even less on some, because there's so little there. And then we have to factor, is the time worth the value that you get when you pay for these? Unless you're really staring at the art and enjoying the art, I would have to venture a guess of no. It's just weird. I can't get into it. Here, 2.5 stars says, enough bros and dudes to fill a high school vocabulary. What the heck is Ahmad doing, man? Yeah, I agree there. That's one of my biggest... You know what? I'm going to knock my score down. I agree. I'm going to knock my score down from a 7.4 to a 7 because, boy, that dialogue was so cringe. It took so much out of the book there. And the fact that Marvel has to make everybody that's wealthy an evil person. Just once again, not everybody that is wealthy is evil. Money does not make you evil. Will it make it maybe harder for you to get into heaven? Yeah, if you let money dominate you, absolutely. But if you keep your heart and your mind in the right places, it allows you to do more good as well. Last book I want to talk about is Red Hulk number 5 with 102 ratings, 4.2, very positive score. I gave the book a 7.3. Not bad either. And the writer's Benjamin Percy and artist is Jeff Shaw. Red Hulk emerges from the nuclear fire. Yes, he gets to the nuclear fire in Laviteria. And boom, he becomes the Red Hulk. And he's fighting off the Doombots left and right. The military, they contact the military and they say, we can't do anything until you're outside of there. They get outside. And what's the military do? They pretty much said, screw you. We're not going against Doom. Boy, is that not good. The government refuses to help, and matter of fact, they're going to be causing even more problems. They attack Red Hulk, hit him with something that de-hulks him with some radiation there, and capture the team. Yeah. It was pretty cool, though. Red Hulk was getting even, tearing those Doombots apart. There's decent art in here and a good amount of action. It's been an interesting story. I enjoy this team. It's just a unique team that we don't normally see. And I've been enjoying this, so I gave that positive rating. I thought it was good, and if you haven't been reading the Red Hulk, might be one to go back and check. Though I will say, continuity-wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because we've seen other books like Sam Wilson, Captain America, that had him in it in a different situation. The reviews overall are pretty darn good. I'm seeing lots of 4s and 5s when trying to score. I don't find anything really lower than a 4.5 review as I'm scoring going through these. Here's an example. Solid issue. Finally letting some nuts hang. And it ties to the one world quite well. Letting some nuts hang. That's a new one. They're finally letting some nuts hang out. I did not see any Hulk nuts in this issue, just for the record. This book continues to be just plain awesome. I'm not a big fan personally of this whole Doom thing, but I agree, this was a pretty awesome book. Jeff Shaw keeps knocking it out of the park on the action here, and seeing Ross just attack crap is a blast. Excited. We're finally getting more involved with the world at large. Yeah, I've not been a big fan of this overall big story, but I am enjoying this particular series with Red Hulk, Deathlock, and Machine Man. So if you want to check out something with a more unique set of characters, this might just be it. Now, I know this might not be my longest comic book weekly review, but that gives you plenty of time then to leave your thoughts down below. Please do like, subscribe, all that stuff. It really, really helps the channel. Trust me, I appreciate it. My family appreciates it, especially when I will admit I've been a little down in the dumps, a little bit maybe. I got to get out of that. I got to remember anxiety will be taken away as long as you keep your eye on the prize. The Lord, He'll take your anxiety from you and always lead you in the right directions and help you make the right decision. I've been teetering on a lot of things right now, dealing with a lot of stuff. Not physically, though. Fortunate, my health seems to be good, but a lot of other stuff. But you know what? The Lord will provide. And if you find yourself in a position that you're struggling, look outside of you. I strongly suggest that we can only control what we control. Focus on what you can control. Don't worry about the things that you can't. When we start to do that, our anxiety builds and we overdo it. So I look at it, the Lord's going to provide and put me in the right direction for what to make the next big decisions in my life. And by the way, my relationship, my family, and all are fantastic. Just for the record there. All right, everybody, thank you for your time. And until next time, keep it real.